All right, good evening, everybody. I want to say hello to very few subscribers to my YouTube channel. Let's give it up for YouTube. And I want to say a good shout out and a good evening to a special, well, to somebody at my church who I'm not going to mention her name. Mention her name because I don't know if she actually would actually like that, put her name out there, but just give her a special shout out right here. And tonight, I am going to briefly talk about like growing spiritually at church, which there's a lot of layers. So I'm to focus on like a generalization of what I've been going through for the last 13 months. And I've been thinking about all day how I'm going to do this video and what topics I'm going to talk about, because I can talk about one subject and make a 30-40 minute video on it, but I want to talk about more like going spiritually. I don't really have a script tonight. Matter of fact, after I'm done with this live stream, for the person who I'm sending this to, after I'm done, I'm going to leave this live stream up for maybe about 2-3 days. And then after you're done watching it, I'm going to take down the live stream. So that's how I'm going to work with. So I go to this church in Newark, Delaware called The Journey, which I was introduced by a longtime friend of mine. We had a great weekend. We went to a Philadelphia Eagles game, and they asked me like the Friday we stayed in Philly overnight, and this is all pre COVID-19, obviously. So I was asked a question, did I believe in God? And I was like, yes. With me, I mean, I've always believed in God, but I haven't went to church, and like it's been since I was like a little kid. Like when my grandmom took me to church every single Sunday, and my definition of church was, going to, like, you dress up every Sunday, you go in, you listen to the choir, and you listen to what the preacher was preaching, and they would either hand you you give donations to the church. I mean, this was like 20-30 years ago. So, but my thought of church was, everybody dress up on Sundays to go to church, hear what the preacher has to talk about, the message, whatnot, and then you get on about your week or your day or whatnot. So I remember the date. It was Sunday, August 25th, and the day before I was sick as a dog. And they asked me if I was going to go to church. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, because I just got off like a position at work that required me to work weekends, and then my weekends were free. So I figured I needed a void to kind of fill into some time, because I had all this downtime. Whereas I was working Saturday and Sunday, like pretty much 11 to 8, 12 to 8, and then that was gone. So I had this void that I needed to fill, which was probably like watching sports. So like the day of going to church for the first time, which I was pretty much, the person that was taking me to church was saying how I need to get ready to hear from Pastor Mark. I got a call. Live stream, but I'm on YouTube, so anything can happen on a live stream, and I don't have time to edit it or take it out and take what I was going to say, because I got a J group meeting in about 15 minutes. From what this time is recording, you'll probably read this message. You'll probably get it at your own time, but the time I'm filming is after 6, and my J group meeting's at 7. So anyway, getting back to my first gathering is what we call it at the church. I was told I was going to hear from the pastor, Pastor Mark, and my guests who took me to church were saying how he's really good and he's gonna be crying. I was like, okay. So I'm gonna go to church, and my best friend at the time is might be in tears. I was like, okay, so I guess it's gonna be really good. So of course when we get to the service, they were still worshiping, but they're like 2 or 3 songs. I think there were two songs in, and when we got seated, we got into the slow, like the last song at the time. Now they do 2 songs. They used to do 3 songs, and I'll have to do a video about worship itself because that's a whole video in itself. But when I got there, the music hit me. So like, and it felt kind of surreal. Surreal. You had a big fancy set, and you have the lights, and you have the music. The music was loud, and immediately when I walked in, I was engaged, and then after the music was done playing, then the preacher, which wasn't Pastor Mark, it was Pastor Abby, and she's like my second favorite preacher, next to the preacher that's actually one of the singers, which is you, which I'm not going to mention by name. And I don't remember like the whole point of the message, but I remember what she was saying that it related. So it was a good message, but I didn't know at the time that the messages were in series. Like they take a big message and then break them up into a different kind of message every week, and all the 4 or 5 messages with that the theme that they're talking about, it all ties in together. But I remember my first gathering that they drew. If you remember this, it's called a Connect card. I still have this is my very first Connect card that I got. And every week that I went to the journey, this was before COVID, like, and even like during my first gathering, they like stuffed everything on, Connect card, connecting, at the time it was growth track, now it's plugged in. And, pretty much it was a card, to tell them about you. And for like weeks, I was kind of the shy one, because when I didn't go with my friends, I would go like on a Saturday afternoon or like the 12 o'clock service. And I kind of felt awkward being there and talking to whomever, just want to go in there, hear the message, get fired up for the work week. But it's usually better when I go Sunday, because if I go to a gathering service on Sunday, it fires me up for Monday, whereas I go on Saturday, then got the low on Sunday, back then, there was no live streaming the gatherings. So you can get fired up from the message, from Pastor Mark's message on Saturday night, let that sink in Sunday, and then be back to work Monday, and you kind of not forget, but the powerful message on here, it doesn't resonate. So try not to keep this video too long. So I think the first time I actually opened up to anybody at the journey was, kind of like talking to Pastor Mark, like after the gathering's over a little bit. He was kind of intimidating. Still is intimidated a year later when I'm doing production. But, kind of like say, hi, how you doing? Great message. And then I think when I opened up more was when I met the person who I'm sending this video to, which again, not going to say any names, but this person knows who I'm talking about. So she goes, she's before doing the gathering, she sings. I forget what song that you sang it, but I remember the date. It was January 25th. Yeah, it was January 25th. And then after the gathering, I was getting ready to leave, and I was like, "That's the girl on stage." And then I remember like I was getting nudged by God, which at the time, when you don't really like believe in the spiritual stuff, you talk about God, kind of weird. But now when you talk about God, when I talk about God, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So I was getting nudged to talk to God. It's like, hey, and God said, hey, go meet this girl. And I kind of got the courage to talk to her, and then she immediately was like, hey. And first things like she said was, how are you? How long have you went through the journey, and what J group are you in? And me, I was like, oh, star-struck. And it's like, hey, that's such and such on stage. So at that point, it was back when they were really pushing J groups hard, pushing the people that attend church, even serving serving on the J team. They were pushing J groups, and there still are, even maybe more so than now. Which I know the purpose of J groups is, connecting to different people, going together and doing life together and all that. And at the time, it was like, yeah, but it was more like a yeah, but I mean, I got asked about joining a J groups or by her, asked about J groups from other people serving at the church, asking. There's another pastor, Pastor Brad. He kind of pushed. He kind of like pushed me a little bit towards wanted me to join the J team. I was like, yeah, but I was still not yeah, but stage. So back in February, I joined my first J group, which was in production. Which fast forward now, which is middle of September, I'm in production, which was actually one of the best decisions that I ever made recently. So then I got to that J group, got a little more. I was able to open up a little bit more to myself, not being like so like all the time, or sitting in the back of the church all the time, or more sitting more to the front of the church during service. And COVID-19 happened, and of course we shut down for a few months, which was actually 4. And I think the first time when I really got the push to be more involved with the church, whereas that second J group that I joined back in June, it was stuff. It was, and that J group was more online, which I didn't meet the person. I didn't meet the person that was my leader at the time till like when we started in-person church again. So like the whole Zoom experience was an experience. And she was like, "Hey, so when you're going to do this, and when you're going to plug this, and when you are going to, try plugged in to help you to help you fit with the church." And again, I was still in that yeah, but stage, like still that little barrier, me with God, do I want to do this? And yeah, do I want to do this? I was like, yeah, kind of want to do it, but I'm not really feeling it yet. And then I think my breaking point was like the gathering that I went to, that the person who I'm sending this message to, she sang a song that I was playing on repeat for months and months and months. and she sang that song, and I started shedding some tears. First time I actually shed a couple of tears in church. And like during worship, usually I never like opened my arms, but I saw everybody around the church every time they worship, they open their arms. I remember she played that song, and it was the first time where, for a while, I used to sit in the front, but I was like in the left side of the auditorium, and then like the first after she started singing the first chorus, I just put my arms up for the first time, and I think that was a sign that was say, hey, if you're gonna be in the church, if you want, it's your time to get involved, and serve and do all this stuff, just help around, be around the church. And like a week later, I started serving for Love Month, and I was helping with doing the food distribution for like I actually did all 4 weeks, if you can believe it or not. And then I did Plugged In, which was actually the equivalent to, if you can see it, Growth Track. Yeah, so I did Plugged In, and then there was a spot that said, "What do you want to serve? Which J team that you want to serve in?" So I scroll down. Production came up. Of course, I wasn't going to do worship. No knock to you, but I can't sing. Well, I can't sing now, but I decided production because I have a background in production. So it's like production, and then like a day or two later, I got an email saying, "Hey, you want to join production?" Like, yeah, I joined production. So as far as like being out, so I kind of got out of that but I want to do this but stage, and then God was nudging me, and it was actually, I think it was a push from God saying, it's not going to be. God was saying to me, why don't you say yes, I do it, instead of the yeah, but. So the one thing about going to church and growing spiritually is, kind of getting out of your comfort zone, helping other people, growing. I think more growing spiritually and growing as a person, individual. And then, whereas like 9 months ago, I would be nervous to say hi to anybody. Whereas now it's like, oh hi, Pastor Mark, hi, Pastor Brad, hi, Sydney. Yeah, so this video has actually lasted like longer than what I was expected to. So and I got a J group meeting in a few minutes. So I have a prop. So, but I think I have to make a part 2 later on in the week or sometime next week. So I hope that you enjoyed part 1, which is now going to be part 1. Part 2 is going to be okay. So I'm doing Infuse on Thursday, and I might come up here on Friday, but I'm serving Saturday and Sunday, so I might come up here either like Sunday night or Monday night, and I'll do the part 2 of this video. So anyway, I hope you have a good day. Well, to my friend, I hope you have a good day, night, or whenever you decide or not decide, or whether you like my video or don't like my video. And you also, too, between me and you are better than Barbara. I don't care what anybody says. You are better than Barbara. Well, Barbara's good too, but I have to put you over Barbara. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the journey. And to my live stream audience, who I don't know who my subscribers are, have a good night.